I'm Ms.Murray, and welcome to Wondering Wednesday. Today's segment is going to be So You Want to Be a ... where we interview somebody that's in a super interesting career. So when people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? You might have some ideas because of some cool people that we've talked to right here. Today we're going to be talking with the amazing Marcus Damanda, who is an author. He has written some great books like The Devil in Miss Drake's Class and The Salvation State. And he is going to be giving you guys some advice on what it's like being a writer, and also just talking about his process, how he writes, how he got into it, and all that fun stuff. So let's get started. Hey everybody, I'm here with amazing author Marcus Damanda.
Very kind of you to say so. Hi, Ms.Murray.
Oh, well, I'm happy you're here, and thank you for being here. This is awesome.
Oh, it'll be great fun.
Yes. So let's just jump right into these questions. So,
Sure.
First up, what inspired you to become an author?
Playing Dungeons and Dragons as a kid was a huge inspiration because that was a storytelling job. I was the only one who wanted to be the dungeon master, so I had to make up all of those stories. But I also had a 45-minute bus ride to school when I was a kid. And we used to pass that time sitting in the back seat, and I would just make up stories on the fly and tell my friends. My friends were all younger than me, so they were willing to listen to these. And so I kind of cut my teeth on that. And when I was about 9, I started writing stories on my own on paper. But I don't know that there was a moment per se where I wanted to be a storyteller. I think I always have been. So.
And that makes sense. So especially if you're just telling stories. I guess that feeds right into the next question, which is, so was there a point in life where you knew writing was your passion?
Well, I knew I was a writer as soon as I was writing for me and not for my teachers. You know, I mean, I wrote for them too, of course. You had to, but when I was kind of little, you know, I became a writer the very first time I put pencil to paper, and I didn't have to. You know, everything else is just whether or not you are able to get it published or not. Am I answering your question?
Yeah.
There. Oh, okay. And, you know, if you do it as something that you want to do, if you look at your own words and smile, you're a writer already.
That's good. That's good advice, which will be a question a little bit later. But before we get there, how do you come up with your ideas?
I have a prop. Hold on. I'm just silly about this. I collect ideas, and I put them on color-coded note cards, and they come unexpected, and most of the time, and I just put them on a note card, slip them in the box. You know, a certain color is a character idea, a certain color is a plot idea, a certain color is a world-building idea, and when I have enough of them, then I'm ready to go. But quite a lot of the time, I come up with my ideas by staring at the computer and just offering up a prayer, somebody please give me an idea. And and I have found that, you know, sometimes an hour of looking at the blank screen in frustration does work. And then suddenly something pops unexpectedly, and before you know it, you're off to the races. So sometimes they just come. Sometimes you have to reach in with your hands and haul them up when they don't want to come. But once you get writing, the best ideas happen while you write, not while you think.
That's advice I need to take, because I do way too much thinking and not enough staring at the blank canvas. But so you have these ideas. So based on the books you have published, you tend to be in the realm of horror, thriller, different things like that. Is that a genre you like to write, or is there any other genres that you like to write outside that?
I grew up reading Stephen King, so you know, very often you become what you beheld. And when I was just starting, my thing to write was high fantasy. I was reading Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and this was before J.K. Rowling. But you know, so I was writing that stuff, and and I still I still love reading that stuff. But when I hit Stephen King, I started writing some pretty gruesome things that freaked out my parents and delighted my friends. But I also am a big fan of science fiction and speculative future fiction, and and dystopian fiction, thanks to Neil Shusterman and some other writers. But yeah, my big thing is I like things that can't really happening in a story to relatively normal people.
Because your stories do tend to be a realistic fiction setting with crazy things happening to these people that feel like real people.
Yeah, and when you do that, when you do that, one of the important things to do is to research the time and the place that you're writing about, because quite a lot of the time I don't write about stuff that's happening in 2020. I've gone back in time, forward in time, and current day. But I did a scary story about a medical condition called vanishing twin syndrome, and I had to do a lot of research. But what was great about doing the research, much as that sounds like drudgery and work, is that when you're doing it, a lot of the times you get great ideas from that too. So it's a lot of fun.
And sometimes researching a story is probably the most fun of the process. So.
Yeah, it has been in the past, and sometimes it's murder too. But yeah, it cuts both ways.
Well, especially when that's what you're researching, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, gosh, like one of the things that wasn't as much fun to research, but it produced a story I'm proud of, was the tuberculosis plague of the turn of the century. That was pretty gruesome stuff, and there was some hard reading there, but lots of good story fuel too.
Because most people like reading about the gruesome stuff. It's interesting.
It all goes back to problem and conflict. If you don't have a good crisis, then you're not going to engage the reader. The reader doesn't want to read about the best day of your life. The reader wants to experience how you triumphed in some way or survived something in some way, or even if something was terrifying in some way. That conflict is the spice of story.
Yeah, that's one thing I tell my students is you can't have a story without a conflict.
That's right.
That's what drives it. Okay, so you've already answered my next one, which is what kinds of books do you like to read? You've already named a bunch of great authors. So, yeah. So let's move on to my final regular question, which is my favorite, and I'm looking forward to what you're going to say. What advice do you have for inspiring or any aspiring writers?
Write every day. Write every day, and don't edit until you get to the finish line. Getting to the finish line the first time is not finishing, but you need to have your statue in front of you before you can fill in the details. Write every day. This is my motivation right here, my word count per day. I look at it, and if I have a line on it like this one right here, that I didn't write that day. I will not have 2 lines in a row. And if I miss my words on one day, I make up for them the next if I can. 500 words a day is 180,000 words a year. It's 2 books a year, and 500 words a day is 1 typewritten page. It's not that much to get down, and they pile up quicker than you think. So 500 words a day, and do it every day, is my advice. When you make it a routine, it becomes like training for a sport. It becomes like exercise. You start to feel guilty if you didn't do it, and you end up with a lot of material. Also, and this is critical, get people you trust who will tell you what they really think. Actually listen to criticism from people you trust, and if you wouldn't go to them for advice, then don't take criticism from those people, like haters. I've got a few. I got massacred in a review this week, and you just have to dust that off and move along. But if you surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth, then you will grow as a writer.
Yeah, that's some of. I mean, I love the fact that you trust me enough sometimes to show me some of your work. So that's.
I throw stuff at you constantly.
Yes, and I love reading it, and giving you feedback, and it's just so much fun. It feels like you're part of a special fan club. So,
Well, but you're also a very, very dear friend of mine, and I trust you implicitly.
well, thank you. And that's why I have you be my first interview of this whole thing.
Good times.
Yes. So let's have a little bit more fun. Let's
Okay.
do a lightning round.
Hit me.
Okay. So you ready? Got 10 of these.
Yep. Okay.
If you could visit any place in the world, what would it be?
Castles in Europe.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Daredevil.
Favorite movie?
E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Perfect story.
Favorite song?
Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones.
Favorite cartoon character?
Yosemite Sam.
Favorite animal?
Cat. Or if I have to go out in the wild, shark.
I wish Shazam made an appearance. Favorite food?
Mom's Chicago Deep Dish Square Pizza.
And finally, what's your favorite drink?
Well, Diet Coke on the regular, but when I want to get fancy, a gingerbread latte from Starbucks.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It is.
So that's the end of my lightning round.
Uh-huh.
So I just want to say thank you so much for your willingness to be interviewed, and I hope that this will allow more people to read your amazing books.
Well, thank you very, very much for having me. I'm very honored and happy to do it, and happy to help out in any way that I can. So, hey, to all those young writers out there, have you written anything today? You could be doing that right now if you're watching this.
Perfect advice. Thank you, Mr. Damanda.
You're quite welcome, Ms. Murray.